Howdy folks, it's Talter here and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and we are doing another Jack of all planes flight. We have 4 left to do, so we're going to start on the runway, and that's because I needed to count, blah blah blah, not going to get into it. But as soon as we're done with the Jack of all plane flights, we will definitely go back to full immersion, full checklist stuff. So today, I did throw some clouds in. I raised them a little bit to be about 6,000 feet. We'll fly about 5,500 feet. That way we can avoid icing. I also cranked the temperature up to like 80-some degrees. It was like 27.5 Celsius, I think. That way we won't have to worry about icing, because this plane can't do icing. And I was sick of looking at clear skies. So the clouds look okay. The best weather, though, is when you have clouds and stuff in real life weather. When you try to do it, when you try to make it yourself with cloud layers and everything and time of day and all that stuff, it's never as nice as when it's natural. But this looks better than clear skies, and it's an evening flight. We're going to be chasing the sunset, so hopefully we get to our destination before it gets dark. That'd be kind of nice. Alright, Cessna 152 across the Great Lakes. We're going to go right across Mackinac Island and right across the Mackinac Bridge. We're not going to stop and do the POI thing, though. Well, I'm tempted to, but the POI marker should stick up so that you can spot it for yourself if you're not familiar with the area and all that stuff. I was going to turn the POI markers off because they're ugly. Is that a gas can over there? But I didn't want I want to be able to see what we're doing. That looks like a gas can that someone left. No, you see what I mean? That'd be hilarious. So anyway, the POI marker, as ugly as it is, you'll still see it when we fly over the bridge, which is okay. And yes, I'm going to tell stories about that, because oh my gosh, I have so many stories about the island and Michigan and everything. There will be story time today. Those of you who are new to the channel, it's 80%, no, 40% flying, 60% story time. No, I'm just kidding. It's 85%, no, it's what? 70% flying, 20% story time, and 10% who knows what. I think that's pretty much what it is. Something like that. Anyway, let's put the drone away. Let's hop inside. Let's reset the flaps. One set of flaps down. Do we have light control in here? I think we do, because I need to turn on some lights. Don't know where it is right now. Figure it out when we're in there. Otherwise, all this stuff is the way we want it. We have the dome light. That's not what I'm talking about, though. There has to be a way to control the gauges and stuff. Is it this one? I don't know what that's doing. I probably screwed something up now. I don't know. I'll find it when we're in there, like I said. Okay, so let's see. Barometer reset. Compass reset. Since I'm not doing a full checklist, start up cold and dark, I gotta get my bearings here and see what the computer did and what the computer didn't do. VFR flight today. Fully VFR. We will rely on our VFR map to get us to where we're going. This is where we are in the world. You recognize that, right? There's Mackinac Island right there. There's the bridge. I'm going to Rhinelander, Wisconsin, which I've been there too. Actually, we stopped there. When I tell this whole story thing, yeah, I'm going to tell a long story. Be warned. We stopped there, actually. Alright, yeah. There we go. That is all we need to say. Let's just do that for now. Actually, let's go like this so we can get orientation. That's it. We're free to go, right? Yep. And alright, here we go. I swear I'm forgetting something. Oh yeah, note the time on my own clock to see how long this takes. And I'm expecting to take 3 hours, although I think this sim said 2.5. And why am I these rudder pedals? It's not the pedals, it's half the sim and half me. No matter what you do with your sensitivity, they're just a bummer in the sim, especially this one. And everybody's complaining about it, especially professional pilots are complaining about the sensitivity of rudder pedals. Oh, that's gorgeous. I sure hope we beat the sunset, though. Wow. Wow, look at all that turbulence. Why so much turbulence? Why are you doing this to me? Anyway, we're going to fly over the Great Lakes. We're going to fly about 5,500 feet, I think. And what is with the turbulence? I should be able to trim this out eventually. And, jeez, what the heck? I should be able to trim this out eventually and not have to do much flying, even though We don't have autopilot. Are these our lights here? What does that do up there? I can't even see that. Nope. We have to have lights somewhere, because it says up here, night, VFR, day, IFR, whatever. Whatever. Alright, so I'm not going to tell stories right away. I'll wait till we get closer to the bridge, but there's definitely going to be story time today. Let's just appreciate the scenery. I don't understand this crazy turbulence we have going on here. I want to get sick like in real life. Yuck. Alrighty, let's head towards our place. Step on that ball if we can. Man, I should check that wind layer because this is ridiculous. I'm not gonna be able to fly like this. I'm gonna get nauseous. That's gorgeous. Almost looks like it's storming, but it's not. Alrighty, let's see what we're doing. Still flying back towards our track, and then we'll head out here, climb to 5,500, try to keep it there if I can, all that good stuff. I love this plane so much. It's just very slow, which is fine, but it's slow, so it's going to take a long time to get to our destination. Oh, something I wanted to mention on the ground before we even started is that I've been watching a variety of different flight sim videos that are very successful, and I've noticed that a lot of people are not very serious, and I'm finding that, well, I should say like their personality / commentary and stuff isn't very serious. Their flying is still fine and serious, and they take it seriously. So I'm just like thinking, maybe I'm just too serious. Like, I'm so worried about what I say all the time and how I say it and how I present everything, and maybe I just take it too seriously. I don't know what's going on, but I don't know. So I don't know why I'm so serious. But I seem to have a very serious fan base, which is fine, because whenever I'm not serious, I get called out on it, which is fine too, I guess. But I don't know. So that's why I titled this "Why So Serious," because maybe I just don't need to be so serious. I don't know. Just something I was thinking about during my previous 3-hour flight. Lots of time to think when I do these flights late at night all by myself, when I should be in bed, just staring at gauges for 3 hours at a time. So anyway, that's what I was thinking about. I'm just going to worry less about what I say and how I present it and everything, and rehearse. I'm just going to do stuff and not be so serious. The simming will still be serious, of course, because that's the point. And I'm always learning, and I'm learning from you all, and you're learning from me. That's the whole point. But as far as what I say and how I say it and how I edit it and stuff, I'm just be myself. I am myself. I'm going to be less serious. How about that? Anyway, just something I was thinking about, and keep an eye on your altitude here. I don't want to really be in the clouds that much. I thought I raised the bases to 6,000 feet. How come it says we're not even 4,000 and we're already into it here? Okay, I see what happened. There was a cloud layer hiding under another cloud layer that was set to 1,000 feet. So it's nice to fly in the clouds and stuff, but then I can't see much. Maybe I'll just play with the clouds as we go, and we'll just have a variety of cloud scenery today. Although this looks pretty nice too. Alrighty, let's trim this thing out. Actually, I already did pretty much for 4,000 feet. Actually, you trim for speed, but then because of airspeed and altitude, it also kind of trims for altitude, sort of, kind of, in a way, but you really just trim for speed. So let's stay at 4,000 instead of 5,000. Maybe I'll change that as we go. Well, let's not go above 4,000. And I think we are still on our track. Everything's good. We don't need to do anything with mixture this low, right? If I bring back mixture, what happens? Yeah, we just lose it. So yeah, don't need to do anything with mixture this low. At least not in the sim. That's not real life advice. That's sim advice. Well, we're still climbing. So we'll probably slowly climb as I sightsee. I talked about everything I wanted to already to get us going here. So let's fly a little bit, and when we get closer to Michigan, I will give you my long story time. Love it or hate it, it's coming. Be prepared. See you in a little bit. We just crossed the shoreline onto Lake Huron, or over Lake Huron, and we're about 40 minutes into the flight or so. I just realized there's a clock right here. I don't know what it said when we started, but my real life clock says we're about 40 minutes and like 37 or something minutes into the flight. Just getting to Lake Huron now. If you want to look on the map, see where we are, there we are. Let me zoom out so you get an idea. There you go. So we started here 40 minutes, about 30 minutes or so we should be getting to Mackinac Island. Looking forward to that. And I have my Michigan stories, and I also realized I have an Escanaba story too, which is completely separate but related because of the area. So we'll have two stories coming up here pretty soon. I just wanted to point out where we were, so let's have a look outside. Lovely sun. Hopefully we get to our destination before dark. And there's Canada back there, and I see the beacon of the airport we took off from. That's kind of weird, kind of far away from that, but whatever. And we got a bunch of islands here to the north, and then wide open water to the south. And just trying to keep it on the path here. Much easier to control this plane than the extra from the previous flight. The controls actually feel heavy-ish, which is nice in this plane. So I'm just using trim to keep your altitude between 3,000 and 4,000, depending on what the clouds are doing, and then trying to stay from going left and right a little bit. So just want to give you a little check-in and let you know where we are, because Lake Huron is an awesome place. Very clear waters this far north. I've seen it for myself. And just enjoying everything. Look at the cloud reflections on the water. Alrighty, I'll see you in about another half an hour or so when we get to the Mackinac area, and that'll be our big story time. See you in a little bit. Well, there goes Canada off in the distance, and more wide open water. But we're able to see some stuff now. So this is Mackinac Island, right there, with Round Island and Bois Blanc Island. It's huge. And then the Mackinac Bridge is going to come across right there. I believe it's something like 5 miles long. So let's start a story time now, I guess. A little earlier than I planned, but that's okay. It'll give us something to talk about here. So, my wife and I, before kids of course, love to take road trips. Our honeymoon was a road trip. We took road trips all over the place. We followed her brother around to play hockey in college via road trip. So we took a road trip to Michigan, and we were going for a week, and we were planning on camping every day. And we found out when we got home that people were taking bets on how long my wife would last, because she says she loves camping, but when it comes down to it, one night is more than enough for her. But everybody lost the bet, because we camped every night except one as planned, and that one night we had gone into Canada, stayed in a hotel as planned. So we camped in various campgrounds along the northern or the upper peninsula of Michigan, and stayed at Taconamon Falls. I can't say that word anymore. Taconamon Falls. We stayed there for a couple of days. We stayed just off the island for a couple of days because it was too expensive to stay on the island, and a few other places. But on the way out, we stopped at Rhinelander. We were going to drive the whole way to Mackinac Island, but we just got too tired. So we stopped at Rhinelander at a motel, and we were completely out of place. It was a motel for like hunters who were either hunting in the area or needed a place to stay, and they all looked at us like we were crazy. Some young 20-somethings, obviously newly married, with all these like gritty middle-aged and older hunters in their big trucks with gun racks and stuff, and here I was in my little Saturn Ion with 2 bicycles on the back. Could not look more out of place, but it was fine. We stayed for one night and got the heck out of there the next morning, and then made it to Michigan. But Rhinelander, we just chose it because it was the biggest city in the area to stay at, and that's where we're landing today. But then in Michigan, we went across the bridge, of course. We spent some time on the pier on the south side of the bridge, which we found out later is the government property. No one came and got us, though, and we didn't break in. We were just the only car in this parking lot at night, checking out the water, I guess. Kind of strange now, but back then it made sense. And then I spent time camping at the, what do they call those campgrounds? I can't remember what those campgrounds are called. Anyway, there's a campground there. I think it might even be closed now, but at the time it was open. Again, this was 15, 16 years ago. And then we spent a couple days on the island with our own bicycles, which in the future, if we did it again, we would just rent bicycles. But we brought our own bicycles and biked around the island, no problem. We were on the northern side, on the Lake Huron side of the island, and the water was really clear, really warm. And I'm like, I'm going to go skinny dipping. And just before I did, we heard some giggling, and there were 3 girls who were already doing that. So we're like, yeah, let's not join them. I'll be like the creepy guy. Even though I was only like 22, or 25, whatever. I'm like, I don't want to be the creepy guy. Like, skinny dipping where these girls are skinny dipping. So that was kind of weird. So then we just kind of hightailed it out of there before we were noticed. And then found a different part of the water we just put our feet in. But, the water was just amazing. You could see all the way down rocks. It was just gorgeous. Spent a lot of time there. It was pretty desolate because the island is a lot bigger than people think it is. So people will think, I'm going to walk around the island. And then they get started and then they have to come back. Otherwise, we did see quite a few people like pushing strollers with little kids walking on the far side of the island that were stranded. I think it's 11 miles or 13 miles around. Maybe even 8, whatever it is. It's longer than people anticipated to walk it, right? We weren't surprised to bike it because we were avid cyclists and it was just nothing for us. But a lot of cyclists were tired by the end. A lot of walkers are stranded. I felt badly for them. But it was gorgeous. And spent a lot of time on the island. Walked through the trees and everything. Checked out the fudge. That's why you go is for fudge, even though I'm not a fudge person. People thought it was funny we locked up our bikes, but there were bikes stolen there, actually, who you brought. If you don't bring your own bike, you don't care if you rent one. But if you bring your own bike, you gotta be careful. What else did we do there? Oh, the Grand Hotel is hilarious because after a certain time in the evening, if you're not dressed to the hilt, you can't go in the front door. You have to go in the back door. And it's just kind of funny. That was really funny. And I mean, I've been there once, don't need to go there again. There's an airport there. In fact, I can see the beacon flashing right now. There's an airport there, right there on top of the hill of the island. Then there's another airport like 3 miles away. And you can take airports across if you want to, or airplane if you want to take the ferry, whatever, just little airplanes. I wanted to do it, but it was so expensive just to hop across the water. In the winter, there's a few residents who live there, and they take a hover boat or drive across or whatever. No cars allowed. But it was fun. It's all tourist trap, 100% tourist trap. And a lot of like teenagers work there and stuff in the summer. Great summer job. Yeah, you can see the airport on the island. Then you can see the airport on the mainland. That's awesome. We've flown that and explained millions of times, of course. We did see a plane land, and there's a golf course there too. And the bridge is starting to come into view. How exciting. What else about the island? I had one more thing to say and I don't remember. bummer. Anyway, it was fun. And then we took the ferry back, and then we kept going on our trip, and then we went over to Canada. We crossed at Sault Ste. Marie, and they said don't cross Tuesdays at 3 or something because it takes hours to get back into customs because of all the senior citizens going to the casino, I guess. Super hilarious. What else? I forgot the one more thing I was going to say about the island. Can't remember. Doesn't matter, I guess. But it was a fun trip, and there's a lot more to say. I just don't remember. That's okay. I can't remember everything. The Escanaba thing. Back when I was in college, I was 19, and I had a Fiero, and I went to college in Duluth. My friends and I were bored. We weren't partiers or drinkers, and for some reason I wasn't in a practice room, I guess. So we went on a road trip, 26-hour road trip. I drove to Escanaba just because it was on the map. And I'd never been to Michigan before. And I can tell this story because this was over 25 years ago. But I was driving my Fiero through Upper Peninsula, Michigan. I wanted to see how fast it could go because it had all these racing mods on it. I bought it from my uncle who was a experimental mechanic. And I was going, I don't know, speedometer topped out at 85. I topped out the speedometer in 3rd gear. And I was in 4th gear, getting ready to shift into 5th. So I don't know how fast I was going. I can't believe the engine could handle it, but with all the mods, whatever. And then there's a deer at the bottom of a hill, so I slowed down, didn't want to slam on the brakes, not at that speed. I remember, I've told you before, no I haven't. In my Forza videos, I've talked about my performance driving experience, but not in flight sim. But anyway, that speed, you just don't slam on the brakes, blah, blah, blah. So I start slowing down. And then the Michigan cop comes up behind me, flips on his lights, and of course I freak out. I'm like, oh great, that's probably jail time. I normally don't speed. I'm not a crazy person. I'm such a goody-goody. And the one time I speed, I get caught, right? I get pulled over, and I had just entered a construction zone where then, maybe now, but then the law was 45 miles an hour even if it's not signed. Just 45 miles an hour or lower. We don't have that in Minnesota. So he said he caught me doing 16 to 45. I'm like, yes, you did. And he checked on my license, perfect driving record, blah, blah, blah. And he said, well, we have this law that is, I'm like, okay, I actually knew that, but I didn't say I knew it. He's like, but since you don't have that law in Minnesota, I can't give you a ticket because you wouldn't know. I'm like, you're right. I don't know that, even though I did. And then he wanted to check out the car because he's like, where are you going? We're like, we're just going to Escanaba just because we can. Then he assumed, oh, they're on a drug run, right? Because why else would you drive from Duluth to Escanaba with no suitcases for no reason? Which I totally got. I totally understand. I'm like, I understand why you're checking. Just go ahead, check. We're just two bored college kids who don't like to party. This is our version of a party, is to drive around. It's like, okay, he was a really young cop too, like just out of the academy, super young. He was nervous. He checked out the car, saw the engine in the back. He goes, I don't know what this thing is that you're driving, but I don't know what to search. You guys can just go. And he let us go. Oh, he didn't make me open my toolbox. I always carried a toolbox because I needed to repair the stupid Fiero on the road all the time. He's like, fine, you can just go. And we did. And from that day, I told myself that was my freebie. And I have not broken the speed limit since. And that was 25, 27 years ago. And drives people crazy. Of course, I don't drive in the left lane unless I'm passing. But I do the speed limit, follow all the laws, make people mad because of it, whatever. If people honk at me because I'm following the laws, whatever, it's their problem. But that was my freebie. That's what I told myself. That was my freebie. And yeah, I've been even more of a goody-goody ever since, which is why I lived through my wife's crazy stories, right? She was not, well, she was the goody-goody who had some little fun, but I was a goody-goody, and it showed up in my driving. It still does. But anyway, so that's my Escanaba story and my Michigan story with my wife. I can't remember the thing I was going to add to the island before I was distracted by the airport. But anyway, I'm going to be quiet now. We're going to fly over the bridge. The POI marker should pop into view, even though it's ugly. I'll leave it up there. And then we'll come back here someday to like maybe land on the bridge or fly under the bridge, use these airports, see how detailed the city is with the satellite imagery. The city, if you want to call it a city on the island. But the area, I guess. So anyway, we are about halfway through our flight now, so I'm gonna give a little bit more sightseeing and keep rocking this plane left and right because the airline trim isn't doing a whole lot. It goes too much one way or the other. So I'm going to fly, maintain this altitude under the clouds, and I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, since we're here, we're gonna come down and check out the bridge. Nice and low, why not? Now, we already got this POI achievement where you look at 100 POIs with the smart cam. Got that a long time ago, but I'm still going through and collecting them if we happen to pass them, like in this case. That way, if they ever add an achievement for more, we already have a few in our profile, so we don't have to do them again. So I'm only doing it if we happen to go by a POI. I'm not going to seek them out unless there's another achievement, but let's come down nice and low, hit the smart cam button, which is this one on my yoke, and be within 0.27 nautical miles, and just get the POI and fly around, because I was thinking it would be a little more interesting from the air, but it actually isn't that interesting from the air, is it? It's actually rendered very strangely, so it'll be worth it to come down and have a peek as long as you don't hit the cables. That would be a huge bummer, of course. But, or actually, I don't think this is cabled. Well, there might be support cables for the towers. I can't remember. It's not a... yeah, it is cabled. Okay. I used to know everything about this bridge. Remember, I talked before how I used to know all this about buildings. I used to also know stuff about bridges. But I can't remember. So long ago. And now the other priorities, I just don't remember. So let's come in nice and low. And yeah, this bridge takes a long time to drive across. It takes way longer than it looks. It looks like it'd be like, oh, it's just a quick drive. But nope, you pay your toll, and then you drive a very long time. I think it's 5 miles, something like that, like I said. And I believe the speed limit is 55. So if it were 60, and you drove... if it were 60 and you drove 5 miles, it would take 5 minutes, right? So it takes a long time to drive it, plus the tolls. It's pretty cool. Let's just get closer here and get our deal. There it is. Oh, it's the reflection in the water that looks funny, not the bridge itself. The bridge itself looks awesome. It's the reflections that look weird. Huh. This is what it really looks like, though, and I have some amazing pictures of this bridge. If I can find the pictures on my hard drive, I'll paste them in right after we get our achievement here, or not achievement, our POI thing. Alright, so 0.27 is what we need. 3, 2, 8, 7, 6 going down. There we go, ready, and boom, 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4, And it saved it. Okay, so there we go. Looking good. That's exactly what it looks like too. That's exactly what their bridge looks like. That is amazing. And maybe we'll take out an aerobatic plane and fly under it. Awesome. Alrighty, so if I can find my pictures of it, let me insert them here for you to look at while I climb out of here and get back on track. And there we go. Let's get some altitude and look back at the bridge as we fly away. Look at that, it's so awesome. This is the port my wife and I were at. That's like government property. It's like a naval base or something. And it wasn't gated or anything. We legally went there. We just hung out there for a while. Right there. And watched, looked at all the lights. It was really cool. Very awesome. So there you go. There's the bridge. As we get away from it. And, alright. Let me regain my composure in this aircraft here. And get back to where we were. And get back to sightseeing. I'll see you in a little bit. So we're coming up on Escanaba, finally. Still have a long way to go though, but here it is, Escanaba, where I talk about it, story time. Now I don't know how long it's been. I totally lost track of time because I had to pause for quite a while twice. So it is like 3 or 4 hours later in real life. Don't know what that translates to in the sim, which means it changed here too, because when you pause it, I don't mean active pause, I mean like pause, time still goes on. So like I went, the sun was way up here, for example, and I came back and the sun was way down here, even though I paused it. So time still seems to move. In fact, I know that's the case because that one day when I paused the sim and forgot about it for 2 days, I had left it at nighttime and it was bright daytime when I came back. So I don't know how long it's been, unfortunately. Hopefully, maybe the sim will tell us when we finish the flight how long we've been in the air, but I don't know if that keeps going as well. So I don't know. I'm going to have to guess, I guess. I don't know. I can't tell you. So anyway, here's Escanaba. We're flying over it right now. My camera control's so fast. There we go. That's a good shot. Let's hop outside and have a look while we can. Of course, the only way to look directly below us is to go like that. There we go. Because I cannot use the other camera right now. It'll screw up the plane. But we are now... Well, we're still in Michigan, but we'll be going into Wisconsin pretty soon, because Rhinelander is in Wisconsin. It's looking good here. Let's see how far off our track do we get. Oh my gosh. I was staying on the track the whole time until I started this segment, and now we're way off. So I think if I don't have to stop again, I'll keep the time running, and we'll just have a evening/dusk landing. But if I have to pause again and I come back in this middle of the night, I will move the clock back a little bit until it's back to like this. So we'll have to see here. Hope it doesn't mess up the achievement if I do that though, and that's one thing that makes me nervous, so I might have to leave it running. I'll decide when the time comes. So anyway, there's Escanaba, Michigan for you. And we're about to cross into Wisconsin. So I'll leave you with this sightseeing shot, and I'll see you when we get closer to Rhinelander. And all of a sudden it's night. It is a different time when I'm finishing this flight, and time goes on even though everything is paused. And it's suddenly middle of the night now, I guess. Now I turned on the dome light because I can't find for the life of me gauge lights or panel lights or anything. So if you know where they are, let me know. I've tried everything. I can't find anything, so I'm just going to use the dome light for now. I also have to figure out what this is, but I have to turn on tooltips or whatever. So we're just going to fly like this, as weird as it is, but we kind of have to, I guess, because I don't know what else to do. We'll just kind of turn it down a little at least. No. Okay, well, whatever. So where were we? Where did we leave off? I think we still have quite a ways left to go, to be honest. Yeah, there's Escanaba. And there's Rhinelander. I think we have a good, let's see, based on the pixels moving, a good 45 minutes to an hour probably, I would think. I don't know. I also realized I could have done this flight from VOR to VOR, excuse me, from VOR to VOR, tuning in the radios, and done it that way. That would have been fun. But since I used to only fly that way for so many years, I mean, it's kind of nice just to pull up this map and follow it. But maybe in the future we'll do that, where we do a cross-country trip long distance in a simple plane and use all the VORs. If you can find them anymore, they're around, but they're hard to find now. So anyway, I have to get back into the swing of this. Like I said, it's a completely different time now that I'm splicing in here. So back to sightseeing, and I'll catch you when it really is time to come down to Rhinelander, I guess. Alright, we can already get our airport, so let's tune it in and see how far we are. Select runway for landing. What's cloud? Runway 27. Perfect. And full stop line. We're not doing 8 just because weather's turned off. I've already customized my weather. Announce position. How far are we? 29 miles. That's not bad.
410529 miles east, 4,100 feet inbound to land runway 27.
Well, that's probably our airport right there. I can't imagine it would be anything else out there. So let's just line up with the runway, and we know 27, so about 270 degrees, give or take, so facing west. So we're done with the VFR map. I really wish I could turn this light off, but then I can't see anything. But we'll deal with it. There's a great shot of whatever town that would be. I do like the night flying for the small towns and everything, but we did so many hours of night flying to get the achievement. I really don't want to look at night right now, but hey, we can take a break for a couple hours and come back. And the sun still moves. Cannot stop time, even in a simulator apparently. Now we're coming up on the town of the city of Rhinelander, Wisconsin. There it is from afar, from outside. Middle of nowhere, like I said. Big game area. Not big game, but big area for game hunting and fishing and all that stuff. It is upper Midwest after all. But we're only there for the airport. And we're getting closer. It looks like we're staring right down the runway. So we're going to keep it just like this at a whopping 105 knots. Actually, I think it's 104. 104 knots. Everything's firewalled. Where's our bring back conditioners? Nope, nothing. So we're just going to hang out here at 3,600 feet or so and wait until it's time to come down. Alright, we're going to start coming down as the Pappy is 2 and 2. And use throttles back so we maintain speed. We just come down in VSI. Can you tell I'm tired? This has been a long flight. If anybody watching from Rhinelander, there's your city from the air, about 3,000 feet above sea level. So about, I don't know, maybe 1,800 above ground level or so. Let's announce our final position.
Kilo Romeo Hotel Indian Traffic Turtle Sook Tango Sierra 4105 is on final runway 27 to land.
I'm having a hard time judging our altitude here. If it weren't for the Pappy, I think we'd fly right over the airport. Throttles back to descend, pitch up to start slowing down. Alright, we have a good glide slope, we gotta slow down, so throttles back and pitch up, working together to maintain glide slope and slow down. There you go, very straightforward and simple when you're in a Cessna 152. Let it come down a little bit more. My pitch up to slow down, sent us above. Glide slope a little, first set of flaps. Watch your speed. Long runway, don't have to come in too slowly, but we will tease the stall horn upon touchdown. Hopefully. And second set of flaps. There's the float. Pitch down to keep our speed up. There we go, back on glide slope. Over the threshold. And come down. Let ground effects take us. And float with the stall horn. Is there a stall horn? There's ground effects. There we go. And then nose wheel down gently. And we were perfectly centered. I can't believe it. And now we gotta find our way out of here. Let's just back taxi because I don't want to have to taxi all the way down the end of that runway. That's a long taxi back. Oh, we're gonna stay on the runway. Oh, we made it. We made it. Excellent. Now let's find our way out of here. Where are you? Where are you gonna be? I see taxi lights left and right, but I don't see the taxiway. What are the lines for the taxi here? How do we get off this runway? Another reason why I don't like taking little flights in the middle of the night. Will you stop, please? Stop. Drone. Where are we going here? How do we get off of this run? That's a taxiway next to a runway. Okay, there's people parked over there. But how the heck do you get there? This is bizarre. Okay, there's a taxiway there. Was it at the yellow light or after the yellow light? After the yellow light. Man, that was tough. Alright, let's... Well, nope, before the yellow light. Alright, let's announce clear and try to find our way out of here, shall we? Alright, here we go.
Kilo Romeo Hotel India Traffic Turtle Sook Tango Sierra 4105 is clear of the runway.
This reminds me of when you go on a road trip to like a relative's house for a holiday and you get a little later start than you planned and then you roll in late at night and it's hard to see and things just aren't quite going your way and that light's going to turn off. Yep. I don't know where they want us to go, so we're just going to stop here and just hopefully it counts so I don't have to fly around and look for the lightsaber person, because I do not want to do this flight again. It was way too long. No, it was too much. So we turn the fuel off, turn the key off, and it should count. And it did. So 3 hours and 4 minutes? Sure seemed longer than that. Let's make sure to count it on the achievement page. And this is 85%. Alright, there you go. You know the drill. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Play the Outrun game that way so other people see it in our recommended videos. And I certainly enjoyed it. Hopefully you did too. And I'll see you next time.